troubleshooting or out on a trip, I would probably leave everything in the back panel.
Yeah, gotta get used to it.
I do that all the time too. It's a useful space, but so we're on a trip. Everything in the back, all the breakers are on, and you could leave those on. Everything then, from that point forward, can be controlled within the van from this system. So at the top, this is your inverter control. This is what's going to provide power to those top three breakers, your induction cooktop, your AC outlets, and your electric heater. There are two settings here, to the left and to the right. To the left is charging only, so if you're using shore power, but for some reason you didn't want the system to be energized, you can switch it to the left and it's only going to charge your battery. To the right is charging and energizing your high voltage system.
Okay.
Frankly, that's not really a setting
I was
anyone really uses.
When would you do that? Okay.
It's a strange use case, and I'm not sure exactly why. I could see, if you wanted to charge the battery but make sure that nothing in the van had power, you could do that. Like for a long-term storage or something like that, you had to connect it to shore power.
Oh, that makes sense. Like, so long-term storage, nothing has power except charging. Okay,
exactly.
got it.
Yeah, but generally, switching to the right takes a second.
Yep.
Okay. And that was the induction cooktop, letting us know that it just got power since I left that breaker on at the back.
Yep. And is there an order where you turn this on and then the breaker?
You saw that I just left those on and came in here and flipped it on. That's fine. You could do it the other way. Since I knew that we were going to come up here and I wanted to have these systems on, I just left these breakers on. You're not going to damage anything.
So either order is fine, but normally you would just have those on if you're out on a trip, and then you could just use this control in here.
Exactly. Yeah. If I were on a trip, I would have those on, and then I would just, if I wanted to then in the morning use my induction cooktop, I'd just come here, flip this on, it's ready to go. Mm-hmm. You can adjust the current and go through some other settings. Again, not really something that you're going to need to worry about. Mm-hmm. And so this is, though, one system. As I mentioned, the inverter is not the most efficient device in an electrical system, and so leaving this on will drain the battery more quickly. So if you're not actively using it,
turn it
the
off.
Induction or the outlets, I'd recommend keeping this off.
And it warns you when there's overload, or it looks like,
yeah, it's pretty
be a
smart.
flashing light or something.
Yeah, so there are a couple. So mostly it's showing you the charge state of the battery. So it starts in bulk, so that means that it's rapidly trying to charge the batteries, and then it goes to absorption, which is kind of a balancing process when it's basically full, and then float is when the battery is fully charged and it's just maintaining the charge state. And then you have a few warnings over on the right side here. There's also an app on your phone that can connect into the Victron system and give you a little bit more detail. That's also really helpful in the troubleshooting process. So generally you don't need to be into that level of detail in the system. But if something were to go wrong, we may ask you to log into the app and give us like the error codes, things like that. So there's your inverter. Below that, this is the main control system for your power. And it's a little visual representation of your electrical system. Starting at the top left, AC input, so that's your shore power. The center,
it's red because there's nothing going there.
That's just the color that they've given that device. Yeah, so it would show the wattage coming in from your shore power. If that were connected.
Okay.
Then that's connecting with your little blue line here to your inverter charger. And then on the right side in the green, AC load. So that's your induction cooktop, your outlets, and your electric heater.
And the refrigerator too.
The refrigerator is low voltage. So that's actually that's a DC system.
I missed that.
You only have those three things that are your high voltage loads. Generally, we try to use as many DC components as possible because it's more efficient. So top is your high voltage AC. Down below on the bottom left, that's your battery state. And you can see the little animation there. So that's showing us on the right, PV charger, photovoltaic charger. So that's your solar panel. And it's telling us that this morning, a pretty nice day, the sun's not quite up yet, but we're getting 65 watts of solar. It's kind of what I would expect in these conditions. in the winter in Oregon. So you have a 300 watt solar system. Generally, you'll see, really bright day, midday, you'll get close to that, but you're at about a third of your capacity, which is what I would expect in conditions like this. And so you can see the little animation. So we're getting power going into the battery from your solar system. If you had, and actually, let's see, yeah. So since I have everything running right now, see, so we have first off your battery percentage, 87%. Right below that, negative 12 watts. So we're pulling 12 watts from the battery, even with the solar that we're bringing in.
And that's net negative 12.
Exactly.
So including the solar input.
Exactly. Yeah. And then below that, 13.3 volts. That's a good voltage for your battery system at that charge level. As the charge starts to drop, that'll drop to around 12 and a half. Fully charged is somewhere between 13.5 and 13.8 volts. And then similar to the wattage, your amperage draw, so negative 4.2 amps. And that's really, again, you can check in with your phone to get more detail on this, but this is generally all the information you need when you're interacting with the system. This is also just, there really isn't anything you need to do with the settings. You can go in and take a look at some additional detail, and you can dive into the settings. One thing that's interesting in here or helpful, so if I'm back at this screen, tap on it, bring up menu, your water tank.
Oh.
So that's your, the percentage full of your water tank. And then it goes through all of your...
You went to menu to pull that up, yeah.
Correct, yeah. So it's pages, takes you back there, and then menu. Exactly. All right, next down